This one's a little longer than the last one, so we might break it up into 2 parts. Okay, chapter 5, to do. Dance this time like an old king is watching, stiff and boring. That's my chickens over there. You can see Winnie right there. Hey, sis. They're over there looking for bugs. All right. By the time I reached the other side of the track, Coach was already laying out what everyone needed to do in practice, which, for the most part, was basically what we always did on Mondays. Fartleks. Fartleks. Which is basically just when you run kind of fast for 3 minutes, then real fast for 1 minute. Then kind of fast for 3, real fast for 1. Over and over and over again. Then there's some specialized training where the sprinters could break off and do their own thing. The mid-distance runners would do the same. And the distance runners, well, they just run all practice. But then out of nowhere, Coach threw a wrench in the plan. We're also going to spend some time working on relay, he said, slapping the baton against his thigh. Not all 20 of you. There's 19 of us, Coach. Chris is gone, remember? Aaron slipped in. Coach just raised his eyebrow, glared at Aaron in the I'm talking way. Plus, rounding up ain't against the rules. Seriously. Anyway, just my mid-distance runners for now, Coach elaborated. At some point, we'll develop the 4x400, but we don't have enough veteran sprinters on the boys' side for that. He nodded at Ghost and Luke. We'll get you newbies where you need to be soon. We got a long season ahead of us. But for now, let's start with one of our sweet spots, the 4x800. Let me get Freddie, Mikey, Eric, and Karan. And for the girls, I need Deja, Crystal, Britt, Brat, and joining them as the 4th will be Patty. He glared at me. Can you handle that? I nodded. Good. Coach Witt is going to work with y'all. These two groups are These two groups are our 4x800 relay teams. If anyone has a problem with this decision, speak now or forever hold your peace. I looked around the circle at all the faces, each one either nodding or smirking. I was cool with running relay even though I never had before. I've watched it enough times at meets, the Olympic races they show on TV, and internet clips to know that all you had to do was take the baton, then run as fast as you could to hand it off to the next person. Like passing the collection plate at church. All right, ladies, come this way. Coach Witt called, leading me and the other 3 girls to the outside of the track. She was holding a small radio, one of the old ones with a CD player and a handle, the kind Cotton's grandma got in her kitchen. Witt set it on the track. Then she gave us what I can only describe as an evil grin. Today, I'm going to teach y'all how to dance. Wait, what? Dance? Brat balked. I don't know about them, she thumbed at us, but I already know how to do that. She put her hands together in a single clap, then put them up to her chest, palms out, and started shoving the air. A standing push-up like they did on the old school rap videos my father made me watch. Salt and pepper style. Hey, Deja howled, joining in, dipping low. Go, Deja. Go, Brit Brat. Go, Deja. Go, Brit Brat. It's your birthday, but not really. We at track practice. We at track practice. Track, 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 Crystal chanted. I didn't join them, but their silly dancing definitely helped with the process of pulling me out of my second place slump. Brit Brat's craziness reminded me so much of Cotton's, jumping around, clapping, telling me to make sure I'm getting good angles with the phone. This was something Taylor and TT and Becca and all the hair flippers I went to school with couldn't do. What I was missing. Even so, though me and the girls on the track team could kind of relate, I was still the new girl, and I hadn't really gotten close to everybody yet. At least not the vets. My crew were the newbies, and the only one of them I could see breaking out in a full-on dance break was Sonny, which would be the funniest dance break of all time with his lanky self. So I didn't feel like I could really join in, but Brit Brat's goofiness definitely made me feel like maybe I could vibe with them. Maybe next time. Like, maybe the vets were cool. Okay, Coach. Crap. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a scratchy throat, so I'm doing my best here. Okay. Coach Whit tried to settle us down and hold in her laugh at the same time. You do know there are other dances that don't involve all that booty action, right? Whatever, Whit. You probably just be like that in the club, Brat said, tapping Deja with the back of her hand. You be going to the club, Whit? Deja asked, smiling all silly. None of your business, and this is not the club. Whit shut them down, shaking her head. Anyway, we're gonna lean in a different kind of dancing. She puts play on the radio, and the music that came out wasn't classical, but... Oh, so the track ain't good enough to be a club, but it's good enough to be a ballroom, huh? Crystal jabbed. Ballroom? That's the kind of music it was. All royal sounding. Like we were about to witness a prince and princess have their first dance or something. That's right, Whit said, stepping back and lifting one arm up and the other arm out as if she was being held by someone. Now this is called the waltz. We all stood there looking at her like she had lost her mind as she lifted onto her tippy toes and started counting. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, moving robotically. Back, then left, then front, then right, dancing in squares, the violins from the music whining in the background. What y'all waiting for? Wilt called out, stepping and sliding, her back stiff as a board. We waiting for you to stop, Crystal said. And I'm waiting on y'all to start, Whit threw right back, 1, 2, 3-ing forward. I glanced over at the track. The other runners were doing their own thing for the most part. The distance runners were working on pacing. The other 800 runners were working on fartlicks, working on endurance, and the sprinters, well, specifically Lou and Ghost, they were looking over at us, smirking. Oh, you serious? Brat was asking, already knowing the answer. As a matter of fact, she didn't even wait for Whit to answer, and instead saved herself the frustration by being the trailblazer for the rest of us and getting in position, one arm up as if she was waiting for someone to grab it and arm wrestle her, and the other arm curved as if wrapping around the waist of someone else. Someone with a rose in their mouth. Crystal didn't follow. Neither did Deja. But me, I was new, and it didn't seem like a good idea to pop slick on one of those coaches. So I did what I had to do and became a real-life dance mannequin. As soon as I lifted my arm, I could feel Lou's and Ghost sneakers run down my spine, prickly like ice water. I didn't know if they really were laughing, but I was pretty sure they were. And even if they weren't, I could feel them thinking about it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Coach Whit was still counting and pacing, ignoring the fact that Deja and Crystal were holding out. Just do it, Brat groaned at them, so we can get it over with. I just don't see what this has to do with running, Deja said, reluctantly lifting her arms. I want to tell you, but since y'all making me dance alone, I can't, Whit said, batting her eyes, laughter just under her tongue. Ugh. Crystal threw herself into a lazy karate stance. Very nice. Now, ladies, follow me. And then back to the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Except now we were following. Backward, left, forward, right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, blah, 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 blah. I murmured to myself, betting that this was the real fart lickers Lou and Ghost were saying to each other, their tongues hanging from their mouths like hounds mimicking us by doing the robot or something. And Aaron was probably saying something like, you can't win first place being ballerinas, even though this wasn't even ballet. But he was probably right, if he was even saying that. I, a second place winner, loser, couldn't win first doing this. I didn't know what kind of training methods Whit had, or what discount aisle Coach found her in, but dancing? Dancing? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Very nice, girls, Whit said, all coachy like this was real practice. Then she sideswiped us. Now pair up. What? Crystal stopped, arms down, head cocked. You always run when the gun goes off, so I know you ain't deaf, Crystal. Whit was clearly reaching the end of her patience rope, and I couldn't blame her. But I also couldn't blame Crystal for being snappy. This was whack. Pair up. You're going to dance with each other, and you can pout and suck your teeth and whatever else. But if you want to win as a relay team, Whit stopped dancing, folding her arms across her chest. It's your call. Well, no surprise here. I wanted to win. I really wanted to win. And straight up, If Whit told me that having my blood cleaned was the way to win, I would go to dialysis just like my ma. Now I know that ain't the case, but I'd do it if it was. I glanced over at Britt Brat, nodded. She turned toward me and reached for my hand. Let's just get it over with, she mumbled, facing me, but directing her words to her fellow vets. Crystal and Deja let out loud, breathy huffs and positioned themselves in front of each other. Now, just like before, but this time, we guided each other, trusted each other. Whit took a pause, inhaled, and lifted her arms as if she was conducting an orchestra and started again with the count. 1, 2, 3. Me and Britt Brat took a step back. Back for Britt, forward for me. It was awkward. Same leg, same motion, same time, Whit instructed. 1, 2, 3. Me and Britt Brat moved left. I was a little smoother. 1, 2, 3. Forward, which was actually backward for me. Not smooth at all. As a matter of fact, Britt Brat stepped on my foot. Good thing she's light. Keep moving. 1, 2, 3 to the right. Decent. And on and on. But every time we'd make the step forward, which was my step backward, Britt would crush me. Just squash my feet with hers until finally I couldn't just take it anymore. You think you could watch your feet, Britt? I said, trying to be as nice as possible. I didn't want her to think, oh, well then I read that wrong. You think you could watch your feet, Britt? I said, trying to be as nice as possible. I didn't want her to think I was coming at her or anything. I didn't need no drama, but I did need my toes. I mean, who can run with broken feet? When I said it, I braced myself for the quick, sharp tongue lashing that I usually served up whenever somebody tried me. My bad, Britt Brat said softly, which I have to admit threw me for a loop. I guess I shouldn't have expected her to trip, especially since she was the first person to even give this whole dance thing a chance. My feet are huge. I looked down. Whoa! When most people say that, well, first of all, I'm only used to them being boys. Boys around Barnaby Terrace like David Hunter, who at 10 years old wore size 10 shoes. My mother said he had feet like rowboats, and if that was the case, then Britt Brat had yachts. How can you even run with those things, I wanted to say. It's cool, is what I actually said. 1, 2, 3. But it wasn't cool, because it kept happening. She would try to move them to the side, but they just were everywhere. Everywhere! 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ouch! I had to adjust, start taking bigger steps back in hopes of steering clear of those floppers. And it worked. But then she adjusted to my adjustment and caught my big toe. Very good, ladies. Now I want you to take one step back. Hold your pose, but separate yourself from your partner. Coach Whit instructed, the song now fading out to a new one beginning. The sound of claps came from the other end of the track. I cringed, already knowing what was happening, but I had to look anyway. And there they were, Ghost and Lou, slapping their stupid hands together like clowns. "Dance with the stars, Patty," Lou yelled out. And before I could say anything, and I was going to, Coach, like Coach, started laughing too. He had been working with the boys' relay on the field and was now walking toward Lou and Ghost, letting out the nastiest cackle ever. So loud and ridiculous that everyone stopped what they were doing to watch him. He laughed and laughed, slapping his knee and patting his chest and throwing his head back all the way across the field until he reached Lou and Ghost up by the 100-meter start line. He threw his arm around both of their shoulders, and they were still chuckling. Then Coach whispered something in Lou's ear, then in Ghost, and then they weren't smiling no more. Coach pulled away from them and took a few steps back. Ghost and Lou looked horrified. But then they faced each other, awkwardly, took each other by the hands, awkwardly, held each other barely around the waist, awkwardly, and began their version of the waltz. Whoa! I almost passed out, and I wasn't the only one. Everyone started losing it. "Come on, fellas, stay on beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I yelled, snapping my fingers on count. Britt Brat jumped right in, and so did Crystal and Deja. Even Coach Whit joined us. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we all chanted, eventually leading to everyone chanting. All the runners, even Sonny. when we were all singing 1, 2, 3, waving our arms around like conductors. I don't know why, it just seemed appropriate. Watching Lou and Ghost waddle side to side like toddlers who had just pooped their pants. Okay, ladies, Coach Whit cut us off, still laughing, and tried to wrangle us back in. Let's refocus. We all regained our composure and turned to reposition ourselves for more waltzing. Just as we grabbed hands, Coach Whit said, excuse me, we're going to do the same thing, but this time, let go of each other's hands. I'm right outside my son's room, and he's being very loud. Okay. So we all regained our composure. We're going to do something different, but this time, let go of each other's hands. Separate yourselves so that another person could fit between you. Wait, Crystal said, immediately winding up. Her arms went from around Deja to her own hips. So now we got to dance in threes? Well, if that's the case, I volunteered Deja to dance between them two. Crystal pointed to me and Brit Brat. Crystal? No, just Coach Whit was stuck by Crystal's ridiculousness. Could one of y'all explain, please? Deja took on the task. Then we took our places again, but this time Brit and I were standing about a foot away from each other. We held our hands the same, and on Whit's count, danced the waltz one more time. Back, Whit instructed, nice and smooth. Remember when you were closer, the pressure of your partner, knowing the steps, working and moving in unison. You like a hippie or something? Deja asked. Focus, Whit said. Might learn something. Doubt it, Crystal groused under her breath, but still loud enough for us to hear. 1, 2, 3. Left, now forward. I was happy, relieved. There was space between Brit and me. Space for her feet to meet ground and not my toes. It was also kind of cool to see all four of us moving around, swaying and stepping all at the same time. Reminded me of the Olympics. The only thing I like to watch besides running are the synchronized swimmers. And me, Brit Brat, Deja, and Crystal, once she finally shut up, were like synchronized swimmers. Synchronized runners. Sneaky Whit. We had made like 20 or 30 squares before Whit finally, thank you, Lord, cut the music. Okay, that's enough. Good job. So how did it feel? Then she pointed at Crystal, who was already fixing her mouth to crack a joke. Whit didn't say anything to her, just pointed like, don't. It felt weird at first, I spoke up. Yeah, definitely. And I kept stepping on Patty's feet, Brit admitted. But then we kind of adjusted, you know? Right, same for us. Like, after a few times, you kind of just stopped thinking about it, Deja said. Coach Whit looked at Crystal, who was smirking. It was cool, she said with a shrug, eyes everywhere. Coach Whit nodded, poked out her bottom lip. Not in the sad way, but in the surprised and satisfied way. Well, let me ask you all this. A clever grin replacing the pokey lip. How many of you realized that I stopped counting a long time ago? The rest of practice was Whit giving us the rundown about the handoff, the passing of the baton, and how it was just like dancing the waltz, but we didn't actually practice it. She said we would be spending a portion of every practice for the rest of the week doing relay work. She was hoping that we'd be ready to give it a try by Saturday's meet. I found out after practice that Crystal, Deja, and Brit Brat had run relay last year, which is why they were so annoyed by the whole dance thing. I'm just saying it ain't that deep. You run, then you hand the stick to the next person. Then they run. That's pretty much exactly what I thought it was. All this cha-cha mess was, it was fine, but it ain't necessary, Crystal complained afterward. She took a swig of water, then threw her bottle in her duffel bag, zipped it shut. The waltz? I corrected her, even though she was echoing my feelings. It was cool, but it didn't really seem all that helpful, at least not yet. Crystal shot me a look, but I didn't pay it no mind because over her shoulder I could see Maddie coming toward me. Crystal went on mimicking the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 count. Deja chiming in with a perfect amount of complimentary snark. Brit Brat laughing at them both. Aight, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Aight, Patty. Bye, Patty. Yo, Patty. Ghost was chasing me down the track, wiping his face with the bottom of his shirt. You out? Yeah. Without saying nothing, he cocked his head to the side. So you ain't one of us no more. You too good for Sonny, Lou, and me. He smiled, making it clear he was joking. Sonny's my guy. I love Sonny. Oh, you love Sonny, but not me and Lou. I mean... At that moment, Maddie's arms wrapped around my waist. I could feel her rocking back, trying to get me to lift off my feet. I kissed her on the top of the head, immediately noticing fewer beads on her braids, which was normal. They fell off during the week like acorns from a tree. Hey, hey! I tried to get her to stop squeezing. Tell Momly I'm coming. First say hi to Ghost. Maddie waved, then turned and ran back toward the car. Now back to Ghost. I mean, I wouldn't want to get in the middle of y'all relationship. Stop. Dancing so sweetly with each other. Stop. So precious. I'm leaving. Ghost turned around and walked toward Lou. He was sitting on a bench, unlacing his track shoes. Come on, Ghost. Ghost, don't be that way, I begged to his back. Bye, Patty. He threw his hand up, dismissing me. I love you, Ghost, I shouted, but not as much as I love Sonny. Of course Sonny heard me, which I wasn't thinking about when I said it. We caught eyes, but I didn't want to make it weird, or for him to even think it was more than a joke. So I added, because you pay less attention to details, then held my hands up, spirit finger style. Thanks for noticing my flojos. See you tomorrow. Alright guys, so that's the end of chapter 5. The next chapter is called To Do. Eat turkey wings for the millionth day in a row. Ooh, never heard of that one. Alright, we are almost halfway through the book, so that is kind of wild. So join me back here next time. I hope you guys appreciated it, enjoyed it. I hope you'll come and finish the book with me. I think this Joker is like 6 AR points for those of you out there that do accelerated reader. I know for my students, we do an AR project at the end of every, well, they're supposed to do it during the 9 weeks, but it's due at the end of every 9 weeks. And you can absolutely use this as long as you're listening to it in your personal time, kind of a one-on-one thing instead of doing it in class when you're supposed to be doing your work. Okay, thank y'all for joining me. Come back next time, and remember, it is better to have your nose in a book, even if it's a digital book, than in someone else's business. Even